Good morning. It's time to get in touch. In Touch is a public affairs show dedicated to improving the lives of Susquehanna Valley residents. I'm Freddi Hammer, News Director at Backyard Broadcasting. Vickie Stryker, Executive Director of the Lycoming County SPCA, is here with me today to talk about the SPCA services, adoptions, plus fundraising in the 2021 Pawtraits calendar, inviting each of us to submit a photo of our pets and help support the Lycoming County SPCA. Hi, Vickie. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, too. Thanks for being here on In Touch. And I understand it's kitten season. You're taking care of as many as you can.
It is very much so. And you know what's even worse about kitten season is that we had a hiatus where we were unable to spay and neuter cats. So I think we're going to have a lot more kittens this season. With COVID, they had to shut down a lot of the veterinary offices that we rely on for spay and neuter. So we have a bit over 200 cats and kittens in foster homes right now.
Wow. I'm wondering I forgot about the fact that the moratorium in Pennsylvania was protecting the first responders and having enough PPE available. I guess that was sort of part of it, wasn't it, as far as no surgeries elective-wise?
In my mind, spay and neuter is pretty essential, but the governor does not think that animal care is essential services, unfortunately.
We will see, as you mentioned, maybe a surge. It's going to maybe put a little bit of a crimp in here. That's definitely why we want to make sure we're helping out the Lycoming County SPCA this year.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
So let's start with a calendar contest, because we're right in the center of fundraising for the Lycoming County SPCA, where the voting goes till August 3rd.
Yes, and last year we had some last-minute maneuvering to be in the number one spot, and the donations were flying in. So I think that closer to the end of July and the beginning of August, we might see a flurry of activity. But this is going to be an important fundraiser for us, since we had to cancel all our other fundraisers that required person-to-person contact. Once we have the top 12 vote getters, they will be featured on our calendar, and we will have a professional photo shoot for the animals so that they have their own page. And each individual that enters the contest will also be featured in a thumbnail on the calendar. So everybody gets in the calendar. It's just the top 12 get a page.
So the photo that a family might submit of their dog or cat is one that they've taken, and then moving on, the 12 finalists receive that special perk, right?
Correct.
Oh, that sounds so fun. As far as a family just having that sort of a memorable moment, for the year and remembering their babies.
Yes, and the number one person gets to pick the month that they choose to have their pet featured.
Oh, my gosh, so many cute little outfits could be put on those animals.
It is, and some of the pictures are just adorable, and it's so hard to decide which ones are my favorites.
I bet. And people are really in charge as far as getting their own fundraising group efforts to make sure their pet gets in the month that they want.
Correct. We have our software, fundraising software, allows you to have a peer-to-peer fundraising page so that you can ask your friends, your neighbors, your relatives to donate, and that will help get the pet featured in the calendar.
There's also a membership option for the Lycoming County SPCA that I saw on your website, which is lycomingspca.org, but you can be a member and help all year long as well.
That's right, and if you get a kennel sponsorship, you get a sign on in the kennels. And with the cats, we put them on a bulletin board because the cats love to tear those signs up when they're posted on their cages. So the cat sponsorships are on a bulletin board in the cat room, and the dog kennel sponsorships are actually on the kennels where the dogs are located. And one of the unfortunate things of COVID is that we've limited people coming into the shelter. We're just taking people in by appointment. So I know a lot of people like to see their signs on the kennel, posted on the kennel. So all they need to do is make an appointment to come visit us, and we'll be happy to have them visit with the animals if you're interested in adopting.
Well, such little faces waiting for new forever homes. I just love them.
They are adorable.
What else besides monetary funds? How can we help the SPCA here in Lycoming County? How's the COVID-19 pandemic affected folks coming in and helping?
Well, my volunteer manager is a little disappointed because normally we have volunteer orientation every other month. So this month we tried a Zoom orientation, and we just like people to know how we operate, what we do, things that we do for sanitation, normal sanitation, the spread of disease between animals. Now we have the sanitation to prevent the spread of disease between individuals. But there's a lot of information we like to share with our potential volunteers. And we had over 60 applications for new volunteers, but only about, I think she said 14 actually attended the Zoom meeting.
Okay.
So it's kind of hard to set that up to allow for social distancing and the safety of the individuals. But our usual volunteers have adjusted, and we're operating from outside of the shelter. So when they walk the dogs, they get them from the outside kennels.
Oh.
So that way we minimize the number of people in the shelter and minimize the risk. So if anybody's interested in volunteering, they should submit an application. They are on our website. You just have to print off the application and fill it in manually and drop it off. And we do communicate by email. We'll try to do another Zoom meeting and get you interested in what we do. And we also provide an animal handling class, which, for the safety of the individuals and the animals themselves, signs to look for if an animal's not acting appropriately or if you should be concerned about an animal. But we temp test our dogs before we actually allow them to be walked so that the volunteers have that extra measure of safety.
Does bleach clean everything, or do you have to overlap products for the animal sanitation as well as the people sanitation? Just curious.
We have a disinfectant product that is supposed to kill viruses and bacteria.
Mm-hmm.
The product that we use has been very successful in minimizing the spread of disease among the animals. My understanding of the coronavirus is that it's pretty easily destroyed with basic cleaning of an antiviral detergent or alcohol. So it just depends on the equipment itself. Like our copier, we wipe down with a solution of alcohol and water, and then the rest of the surfaces we use our disinfectant.
Okay, well, that's good news. If anybody wants to donate items, that's good news to keep in mind.
Yep. But we do use bleach for the laundry.
Okay.
And the animal blankets get laundered every single day, and we go through tons of bleach, and we do tons of laundry.
I bet.
So if anybody wants to donate laundry detergent or bleach, it's very welcomed.
Do you also receive donations of cat litter or cat foods and dog foods and things like that?
Absolutely. And right now, we put out a plea that we needed kitten food and kitten supplies for all those 200 animals in foster care. And we were amazed by the outpouring. The post office sent one whole truck to deliver the donations that came through the mail. So that was very much welcomed. And I'm sure that in a month we'll have gone through the supplies they delivered. It's amazing how much those little kitties eat.
Do you also provide some of those supplies for the people who are fostering animals?
Absolutely. We don't want this to become a burden for our fosters, and so we can provide the milk replacer, baby bottles, litter, kitten food. So we supply all that. We give the kittens their shots as they grow and deworm them, and provide whatever we can to facilitate their care while they're in a foster home.
Well, it's wonderful the work that you do here for Lycoming County residents. Do you get I know that you had to cancel your day camps this year, but as you get the kids in and helping, is that part of what those day camps do? And if you continue next year, how will that go down?
I have a lot of disappointed children.
Oh, I bet.
Since the inception of the camp, I've had several children that have repeated coming to the camp because they enjoyed it so much. And it is a fun activity for the kids. And they do help with the laundry. They help clean out some of the kennels. And if they're working with a dog or a cat and it has to go to the bathroom, they have to learn how to clean up after it. And we teach them all sorts of things about animal care, animal handling, and the diseases the animals can get, the reasons why we spay neuter. So it's very informative and a lot of hands-on with the animals. That's the favorite part that the kids come for.
Oh, I bet. And you just have little budding veterinarians.
Oh, yes. It's interesting how many want to be veterinarians. And it's a tough field to get into because you really need to be in the top of your class to get into those vet schools, because it's in some ways it's so tough because you're learning about all kinds of species of animals, not just cats and dogs. And so it takes a lot of hard work to get into veterinary school.
And your patients can't tell you what's wrong.
I know. I find that amazing. We get animals into the shelter, and we know there's something wrong with it, and we take it to a veterinarian, and it just amazes me that a few simple tests will help determine what's wrong with the animal, even though they can't communicate to us what they need.
Glad that you do have those camps that can continue for 2021 and get those kids back on track so that they can be veterinarians when they grow up.
Oh, absolutely. And not only are they, growing up to be veterinarians, but they grow up to be animal advocates.
Oh, yeah.
And, they learn how to be kind to animals and teach their friends to be kind to animals. And there's so much, I don't want to say there's a lot of neglect in our county, but sometimes people just don't understand the needs of an animal. Mm-hmm. And we do a lot of education, and the education really does start with the children.
Will you be having any tours going on through this fall?
Probably not.
That's disappointing.
We pretty much canceled all of our on-site activities. And with the resurgence now of the COVID, we're being extra cautious.
Sure.
And I'm hopeful that there's going to be a vaccine this fall or winter, and we can get back on track for 2021.
Absolutely. I remember that just a few weeks ago we had a lost horse. Were you involved in finding that lost horse and getting it back to its owner?
I'm aware of a goat being lost. 3 goats, actually. I'm not positive about the horse.
Okay. Now you're telling me about the goats, I want to hear.
Yeah, I don't remember if it was Allenwood or Muncie area, but a farmer found them and took them to his farm. And I do believe that the owner was found.
Good. The Lost and Found services, if people can always get in touch with the shelter by giving them a call and finding out if their pet's lost.
So if you lose a pet and you call us, we get all that information and we log it into our computer software system. And that way, if somebody calls that they found the pet, we have that information on hand. And if it doesn't match up, that information stays there for a few months until we can make a match or the owner finds the animal or it's brought into the shelter. So we really are able to reunite a lot of animals. And I'll tell you, if you look at a black cat, even owners have trouble figuring out if that's their black cat or their tiger cat. Mm-hmm. So we really love microchips. Microchips are a form of a lifetime identification. Every animal that comes to the shelter, we scan to see if it has a microchip. And once a microchip is found, all we do is call the company where it is registered, and we can call the owner and say, hey, we have your animal at the shelter.
Is that just an easy little injection for the animal?
It is. It's like getting their vaccine shots. The microchip is inserted under the skin between the shoulder blades. Mm-hmm. And people often ask me, will it hurt? And I say, well, it is a shot.
Right.
A lot of animals don't mind it. Some react, but for the most part, they don't even pay attention to it. Yeah. And then you have that lifetime identification and the confidence that if it ever comes to the shelter, we'll be able to reunite it with you.
Definitely. You would have some sort of microchipping events in the past. Will there be anything like that on the radar for 2021?
We do have individual right now if you want a microchip for your pet by making an appointment with us.
Okay.
And then depending on how things go for 2021, we would love to have more events where we can offer microchipping to the public.
Okay. Well, we'll definitely keep our ears open for that and keep our pets identified.
And another simple thing that people can do is get a Sharpie and write their phone number on the inside of their animal's collar.
Oh.
And that way, if somebody finds the animal, they can see the phone number on the collar.
Good. One more thing I wanted to know about the difference between the medical fund, the Joyce Hirschberger Medical Fund, and the Spay and Neuter Fund, as far as when folks think, I want to donate a little bit to the SPCA. What is the difference between those two?
I have worked at the SPCA for 22 years, and I have seen so many people have to give up pets because they couldn't afford veterinary care. So the Joyce Hirschberger Medical Fund is a fund for emergency care for pets when somebody doesn't have the funds for the unexpected accident or emergency.
Okay.
And it is a loan, and we do ask that they pay it back so that that money can be used for other pet owners when they have an emergency for their pet. Now, with the Spay-Neuter Fund, all that money goes right into a fund to provide vouchers and spay-neuter assistance for the public.
Okay.
So we have two types of vouchers. We have a $20 voucher for spaying and neutering like a stray cat, and then the finder would pay the balance.
Okay.
We also have a low-income voucher that's funded through some grants where people come in and apply for a voucher for cats or dogs, and they would need to show their proof of income. Usually it's a tax return. And based on their income, they might have a free voucher or they might have to pay a copay. Up to $30 would be the max.
Okay.
And then they take that voucher to participating veterinarians, and they can get their pets spayed or neutered.
You make it so easy, Vickie. It's really wonderful in order to make sure that we're keeping track of the pets as they get fixed, as well as the families taking in all these babies and able to really thrive in the community with the families. I love that.
The only thing that would make me happier is if I had unlimited funding to help every single person that asked for it.
Okay, it's LycomingSPCA.org. Let's hopefully get that going.
Yes, I would love that.
Well, I think that the website that you do have is absolutely comprehensive. There's so much information on it about adopting, about fostering, and even I have an older dog, and I even noticed euthanasia, cremation, burial services.
Yeah, and that is a difficult choice, and people often ask, am I doing the right thing? And oftentimes, you'll know when the pet's ready.
Yeah.
You don't want their quality of life to deteriorate to the point where they're in pain or they're suffering. A lot of people are grateful that we can cremate their pets' remains and return their ashes to them. Mm-hmm. We also have a pet cemetery, which some people opt for that as well. The one thing that we are not able to provide is we're unable to have the owner with the pet while it's being euthanized.
I see, yeah.
Because our technician is totally focused on the animal, and we can't handle the emotions for the pet owner. Mm-hmm. So in that case, we do encourage them to go to a veterinarian if they want to be with their pet.
Just nice to have another option.
It is.
Well, we certainly want to make sure that we help out the Lycoming County SPCA going forward. We don't want to forget during these times that you're still working very hard and the animals are still being born and the kittens still need fostering as well.
And adopted. We have tons of animals for adoption.
And you can look at all their little faces right there, too.
Yes, and that's a great thing about the Internet. You can see all the animals we have available for adoption. And just call the shelter at 570-322-4646 and make an appointment to visit the one that you want to adopt.
Vickie Stryker, Director of the Lycoming County SPCA, just so happy that you could be with us today. And I'm just thrilled to have you sort of an annual event. We had you on last year on InTouch and this year too.
Thank you so much for the invitation. I appreciate it.
Go online to LycomingSPCA.org. Look at the pictures to find your new forever friend. They're accepting appointments now to meet the animals and look forward to meeting you. InTouch is locally produced in our studios at 1685 4 Mile Drive in Williamsport. To get in touch with us regarding questions, comments, or topic ideas, call weekdays between 8 and 5, 570-323-8200. You can also write to us at 1685 4 Mile Drive, Williamsport, PA 17701, attention Freddi Hammer, or email me at fhammer@backyardbroadcasting.com. For archived programs of our InTouch series, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Backyard Broadcasting. Each current weekly program is featured on the Backyard Broadcasting websites. Thanks for listening to InTouch, a production of Backyard Broadcasting.